Hey everybody, my name is Aaron Braithwaite. I have been in the fitness industry for nearly 30 years and I thought it was about time. I did a little bit of a series on certain aspects of training, transformation, and things like that. So, I'm going to be breaking it down over however long this is going to go on for. The training, nutrition, mindset, and education, relationships, self-improvement, self-motivation. Like we're gonna cover a whole heap of topics. So, what I'm going to do today, now, a lot of my programming, a lot of my 16-week transformation programs that I have, the Awaken Warrior program that I have, which is a 26-week program, um, I go through and I talk in most terms, I talk about the four pillars. And I do add in mindset, I add in the self-talk, I add in self-care, I add in relationships, and a little bit of business. Not a lot, but a little bit of business. So what I want to talk about today, I'm going to make it real quick. I'm going to talk about the four pillars that I use as a foundation in regards to any of my mind and body transformation programs. And so let's sort of break it down, make it real simple. 16-week body and a mind and body transformation program that I have at the moment. It's the Warrior Challenge or Warrior Shed Challenge. My business is Warrior Shed. So the four pillars that I use as a foundation, as I said, pillar number one is a training. Pillar number two is nutrition. Pillar number three is mindset. And pillar number four is education. So, without going into too much detail and to going into too much depth, I'm going to briefly talk about that. If this is all new to you, if this is a new journey to you, like where's your starting point? We all know that if you're looking at starting some form of exercise journey, it's a transformation in one aspect or another, whether it be a body transformation or whether it be just a mindset transformation. There is a transformation. How you decide what that is. So I guess in this outset, we're going to look at it as a body transformation. We're going to be looking at it is that you're at a point A and you want to get to a point B. However bigger that gap is, determines on what are the things you need to do, the phases, the different types of training programs, all of that. So we're going to go through over time and we're going to talk about the pillars over time. So, like I said, pillar number one, training, pillar number two, nutrition, pillar number three, mindset, pillar number four, education. So, pillar number one, when it comes to your training, this is your workout routine. Now, one thing I tell any of my clients when they start with me is I want you to move and I want you to move every single day. Now, whatever that means to you is whatever that means to you. Moving is exactly that. It's moving. A fundamental of the training and the movement is there needs to be an aspect of strength training. And strength training is that if you're strong and you're strong for a long period of time, how is your quality of life going to be? It's going to be pretty good. So if you start losing your strength as you get older, how's your quality of life? It's not going to be that great. There's going to be the risk of you falling. There's going to be the risk of you hurting yourself and injuries and whatnot. So one of the most, like I said, one of the most important things I tell any of my clients is I want you to move every single day. And then I want you to add in a strength training program. And part of the strength training program is, again, depending on where your starting point is, determining on what type of program that is. It can be a 2-day program, 3-day split, 4-day split. And I'll go into detail about what they all mean. But the foundation and the fundamental of your strength training is to get strong. Again, it can be down to how much time do you have when it comes to your training. Me personally, I'm training every single day, but my strength training sessions are anywhere between 40 to maybe 50 minutes, maybe max. So again, everyone is a little different, and you don't have to spend an hour and a half in the gym, 2 hours in the gym. Some people do. Some people could get great results from that, but it's not an absolute must. So whatever the time frame you have, we work within those protocols of a time frame that you have. So the important thing when it comes to training is not only do we want to build muscle. When you build muscle, it helps with your metabolism and improves your overall health. It also can help with hormonal balances. And from a man's perspective, when you're actually physically strong, how does that drive the emotion and the mental aspect? So there's a lot of really important pluses to that. Pillar number two, pillar number two, the nutrition. Now, really interesting with nutrition. I mean, all you need to do is do a Google search, and there's just so much information out there. One piece of advice I want to put out is number one, actually two. So the first piece of advice is don't listen to your government. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to the Diabetic Association, there's actually been a lot of research that's been done on the nutrition and meal plans that the Diabetic Association gives, and it's actually not that great. It actually enhances your diabetic risk. So, real important. Make sure that if you are going to get some nutritional advice, seek guidance from an expert who can help you out with that. Now, the most important thing when it comes to nutrition, I always look at a base. My base is basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate is different for each individual, whether it be male and female and age and whatnot. So that's the first foundation that I use. I use that as my baseline. Now, sadly, unfortunately, there's actually a lot of people that don't even reach that baseline of basal metabolic rate. So there's two problems when it comes to nutrition with a lot of people, is that they may eat very healthily, however, they're not eating enough or they're under eating. So I track, there's a lot of coaches out there that say, don't track your macros, don't track your food. I do. I want to get a really good picture of what's your food habits like, where you're at. Then we have a look into breaking down the macros. Your macros are your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. After we've had a look at the entire picture of your eating habits, then we go back to the basics of what needs to be changed. All right. So we want to have a look at your nutrition aspect. What's the ultimate goal that we want to be achieving based on your nutrition? And then you have a look at your calorie intake. In other words, how much does your body need? And there's a lot of different nutrition eating styles out there. You've got intermittent fasting, you've got all the different diets out there. A calorie is a calorie. Go back to absolute basics. Calories a calorie. You overeat, you're going to get fat. You undereat, you're pretty much going to starve yourself. You're not necessarily going to lose a lot of weight. What can happen with a lot of people when you undereat, you go into a starvation mode, and when you go into a starvation mode, your body actually holds on to fuel. So, yeah, there's a lot of science behind it, and our bodies are very very easy to adapt. We're adaptable creatures. And the one thing that the body wants to do is survive at all costs. So, yeah, food's going to be really important when you have a look at that. Pillar number three, mindset. Mindset's a big one for me. I'm not motivated all the time to train. However, I have formed a discipline and enough discipline to be able to know that I have to train every single day in order for me to get the end result, which is a physical transformation in one form or another. I mean, a bit of history. I've done bodybuilding shows. I've won a few state titles here in Australia, in Victoria. So I've been in the bodybuilding scene for a number of years as well. So I've gone through, comp preps. I've gone through 20-week preps for getting ready for a bodybuilding show. And for those of you that don't know, say, for example, if you're starting on about 20% body fat and you're looking at the average for men in Australia, you're looking at anywhere between 16 to 24% body fat, sometimes even higher. It's kind of like the average. Females is in anywhere excess of 30% body fat. Bear in mind, females need have a slightly higher body fat percentage anyway because of the baby making equipment that they have. So when you're looking at it from those aspects, females are a little bit higher, males are generally a little lower. So for example, like I said, if you're getting ready for a bodybuilding show and you have a body fat percentage of about 18%, you have to try and get that body fat percentage down to about 3 or 4%. As a natural athlete. Some are even a little bit higher from a natural athlete, maybe about 5%, 6%. You still look relatively lean, but yeah, that's the extreme of what you need to do from food. So discipline when it comes to making sure you're doing all the things every single day to get to that end result. It takes it out of you. And like I said, not all of us are motivated every single time or every single day. So it's important to ensure that you're learning discipline. And when you're enforcing and learning the discipline to be able to do the things that you know you have to do every single day to get your result, that's a really important element and an important key in regards to what mindset you need to be able to have that body transformation. So, yeah, it's an interesting part. I love it. The mind is a very powerful tool. We underestimate the power that it actually has, and how we're controlled by our emotions and how we're controlled by mindset, decisions, and actions. So it's a really important one. So if you can overcome or understand your emotions based on your action, then you can pretty much outlaw. Well, you can have a look at the things that you no longer need to pay attention to when you identify what thoughts you have and what drives those thoughts, and then what those thoughts into action are. Because at the end of the day, everything you do, all the actions you do, is why you're in the position and in the place, and your body is the way that it is, whether it be business, body, relationships. Like, your action is dictating all of that. All right. Anyway, let's get back on track. All right. So pillar number 4 is the education. Now, it's really important that you understand the why behind what you're doing, whether it be the mindset, the nutrition, the training. Um, I teach you the benefits. Well, I explain why we make changes. So the education aspect of that, if I want you to eat a certain amount of food, and if I want you to have a certain amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, I want you to understand why. I want you to understand why I'm asking you to make these choices, because at the end of the day, if you do not learn, then that's never going to be an ongoing thing for you. You're always going to be stopping and starting. So the education aspect of it's really quite vital for you to have to put on in all these pillars, but also be able to, for the rest of your life, act on all the things that you're doing, because you'll understand the benefit behind it. All right. Yes. Okay. There you go. I think it's pretty much that's pretty much in an absolute, like, real basic in regards to the pillars we talk about when it comes to any of my transformation programs. So this series is going to go into a little bit of that. Like I said, one of my biggest ones is the mindset. And if you can overcome your doubts, overcome your limiting beliefs, overcome your self-worthlessness, if you can overcome all of those things, that's a lot of your self-sabotage, and that will absolutely help you and propel you forward to be able to achieve all that you want in not only your life, but also have the most amazing relationships, start a business, have the belief that you can start a business, have the belief that you're good enough, and also from a physical transformation perspective, and have the body of your dreams. All right. So thank you, guys. I appreciate your time, and tune in, because we're going to be dropping something like every week. But until then, have yourselves an amazing day, evening, afternoon, week. And until we chat soon, take care.